Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know every time we're live. I'm Lindsey Smith. I'm joined by Saul, Bookman, Gerald, Bourguet, and Espo. And tonight it is the Suns and the Mavs. So the Phoenix Suns are rounding out their 5-game road trip tonight in Dallas, obviously facing off against the Mavericks after having 2 days off since their last game. A nice little break for them there. And they're also entering tonight's game having won 8 straight games over Dallas, the franchise's longest active win streak over any team.
Yeah, and it's been pretty impressive. And also, like, the Mavs are on the second night of a back-to-back tonight. So Monty was talking about how this team has been practicing lately, and their 1-hour practices have been turning into 2.5, 3-hour practices. So it seems like they're really gearing up for this one to try and make it 9 straight tonight.
That would be the goal, right, guys? What are you laughing at, Saul?
Is that it?
I told you it wasn't anything special.
I told you it wasn't anything special.
I felt like there was something more was coming.
No.
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah.
I was told
we were just sitting here just like quiet, like we were not allowed to talk until Gerald has to speak first.
No one
so
said Gerald
awkward.
had to
We were
speak.
scolded. We were
Lindsey
told.
literally said, "Saul, Espo, shut the fuck up until Gerald talks first, okay?
That's
We
not
have
even
something planned."
remotely close.
Of
I
course.
said
I-
Gerald is going to talk first right after me because we've got a plan of where we're going to go. And then you guys
boy.
chime in like normal.
Look at
And then you
this.
just ruined it.
I'm so happy Lindsey laid the breadcrumbs so we could find our way to this.
Saul,
You
they had
ruined
a
it.
plan,
well,
and we
if you
just
came and
railed
showed
them.
up in studio before 5 minutes before the show started, I would have told
I'm
you
sorry,
too.
I have another part of the job that I have to do.
Priorities,
boy.
Saul.
Yeah, he had to watch
Priorities.
TikTok videos.
That's it. God damn it. We got like 300,000 views on TikTok right now. I gotta look.
I'm so mad at the both of you. I'm not talking for 3 minutes. You carry this show. Go, Espo. I'm not talking for 3 minutes.
Ooh, now I gotta talk.
We should
Now
just
you're
sat
all
here.
in trouble.
We should have just sat here in silence. Do we have a timer
Clock.
going? Let's
Start
go.
the clock.
Saul, do you know what the Phoenix Suns are? The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA.
Why do people ask me questions and I don't even get a chance to answer them? What's the point?
The way we like it. Yeah, okay. So yes, the Suns and Mavericks tonight. If Lindsey's not gonna host this, I'll take over. You know what I love is the fact that they're 9-1 since Luka was a part of the Mavs. That's always a nice little stat to throw out there. 8-0 in their last 8 games against them, and again, somehow we wind up in this situation where DA doesn't play in these games, though. I don't have the exact number, but it feels like a lot of them when we come to the Mavs Suns, and we're like, oh, it's that matchup, and then it's like, but no Ayton.
Or
you
no
know,
Luka.
Or no Luka.
It's always one or the
Yeah.
other who seems to miss it. Maybe they're planning it behind the scenes. They're like, yo, let's squash this whole conversation that everyone wants to have around us.
Did you see what Luka was yelling the other day at one of the players? He ain't squashing anything with anybody. that man is petty. All right.
That felt to me a little bit like he was projecting.
I mean,
Like
that
he
dude
had
was.
some internal feelings that he let out in the wrong moment.
I mean,
don't
I
know.
guess, but the dude that was flexing on him didn't even score that bucket, and his team was down like 28. So, like, I don't care if Luka's yelling at that dude. Like, why are you flexing
guess.
when your teammate scored and you're still down 28? I don't get that. Oh, Moritz Wagner. Yeah, I would
Moritz
probably
Wagner.
talk shit to Moritz Wagner too.
I just be like, who are you? Who are you? Like,
All
seriously, Luka, whiny. All right, let's just call it.
I'm
all right,
not going
Luka Doncic, whiny little. You can fill in the blank. All right.
Oh boy. Saul, you care to?
Are you done with your silent treatment,
I
Saul?
was really trying to make it 3 minutes.
I know.
I could see you looking at me. I was like, I'm gonna make it. Damn it. I actually did not see what clip you guys were talking about, so I had no idea.
I'll show you in the break. I can't
On my
repeat what he
phone, I
said.
don't have Luka notifications, so I just move on.
I mean, it was literally on like every
I didn't
basketball
see it.
account there is.
Saul pays a lot of attention when he's studying for these shows.
I didn't see the rundown either.
Today's pregame prep. Pam Beasley is the worst character in film.
Literally what that was.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Look, you know how
Lord
we
have mercy.
you know how we can say pretty much anything. I don't feel comfortable repeating what Luka said to Maurice Wagner.
Yeah.
That's
Can you just like
no. I'm not even going
can
there.
you like lip sync it to me
No.
or something? Come on.
There's a P word in there. There's all sorts of. I'm not saying it. All right.
That's not great.
But yeah, it's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. We can
All
talk
right.
about the game.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Definitely do that. So before we got off the rails, we were talking about how the Suns have had a nice little break between their last game against the Spurs. And Gerald, you were saying that Monty had mentioned that their practices over the last 2 days, they were scheduled for about an hour. And then the guys ended up turning it into about a 2.5 to 3 hour practice. Not necessarily running like intense drills or anything that whole time, but being in the gym together, working on their game, getting extra shots up and more just kind of conditioning type stuff. And I think that's a really good thing to see. And I also feel like it's really interesting because in NBA season, oddly enough, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. You always have more time to practice when you're on a road trip than you do when you're at home because it's limited amount of distractions, especially since there's COVID still around. You're not really able to go do as many things as you normally would on the road. So it's good to see that they're taking advantage of that extra time together.
It's been cold in a lot of places that
That
they're at, so
too.
you don't want to be out in said city as well. I love it because that's when you build chemistry is when you get this opportunity to kind of be in the gym and do that. Games that's not always. It's rarely where you're experimenting on anything and working on anything. So you get this extra time in the gym, and it should pay dividends. It should, that's where you work on the chemistry between somebody like a Campaign and a Bismack Biyombo, a new guy in that case. Jalen can work on being in the 4 spot and those different kind of things that you don't want to be experimenting with in games that you want to build off the court.
Yeah, and they talk about it all the time. Like, these guys are just hoopers. They're hard workers. They love going to the gym. They love being in the gym together. They're like a family. And on a road trip where you have so many days in between games, that's not usually typical of the type of road trip you see. So it's kind of cool that they're spending that extra time together. They don't have a lot else to do, but that's never a bad sign for a team that wants to win a title, to have that extra bonding time and extra shots, getting up, and just that work ethic that they have. It's pretty cool.
Getting stuck in Texas sucks.
I
Absolutely
mean, Dallas
sucks.
is better than San Antonio.
Yeah, they
though.
both kind of blow though, like for real.
I mean, I feel you, but at least
Like
it's
Dallas is so
weather.
spread out, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do today?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the grassy knoll. I'm gonna go eat barbecues. Like those are the two options. Like
your only two options.
What? Who's
Grassy
sitting
knoll.
there going, let's go to the grassy knoll today. We got some
a
off
lot
time.
of people go there.
Screw
JFK was
practicing.
coming back like
Just-
2 months ago.
Okay, Q.
Can we eat
The
barbecue
last time
on
I
the
was
grassy
in
knoll?
Dallas, I spent one of our off days at a Whole Foods for like 3 hours. I literally went and ate at Whole Foods and just sat there and
Wait, in
listened to
Dallas?
a book. Yeah.
Was it a Whole Foods or was it the HEB Central Market?
No, it was a Whole Foods.
Oh, was it?
Like
'Cause
that, I
HEB
didn't
Central
have
Market
anything
is
else to
legit.
do, and I couldn't find something close enough to do. So I literally downloaded an audiobook and sat at a Whole Foods for like 3
That
hours.
just sounds like such a Lindsay
That
thing.
That
was
sounds
what I
like what
was
you
gonna
do
say.
in your
that's
free
like
time
the epitome.
anyway.
Like if I was like, "Hey, we're going on a road trip. What are you gonna do, Lindsay?" And you told me that, I'm like, I'm not surprised.
That sounds about
I'm not
right.
surprised.
Where's the nearest Whole Foods? I need to listen to an audiobook while I wear my organic shoes and eat this kale.
Okay, that
First
was
of
too
all,
extreme.
that's too far.
Organic shoes and kale is
It would
far
be
too
cheese,
extreme.
and we all know it would be cheese.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we discussed the Suns a little bit. Let's talk about the Mavs now. So they have won 10 of their last 11, including 4 in a row. And as Gerald mentioned, tonight's the tail end of a back-to-back for the Mavs. Last night, Luka put up some pretty impressive numbers, though. He had 41 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Who are they
So
playing
hopefully he's
again?
really tired.
Who are they playing again?
The Suns.
No, I said who were they playing?
The
again?
Raptors.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Like whatever.
The Suns just barely beat the Raptors.
Yeah, but it's the
Look,
Raptors. The
look,
Raptors
the
on the
Raptors
road
aren't
are
that
they're
bad.
okay.
Luka is a good stats bad team guy. I mean, let's
Oh,
just say
God,
it.
here we go.
Oh, come on, bro.
He's emptying the
I'm
clip
not,
right
dude, I am
He's
not
just
going
empty
there.
calorie stats. I mean,
Like
come on.
41 and 14 is not empty calories.
It's empty calories. I mean,
Oh
come
my
on.
gosh. Listen, I hate Luka. I absolutely detest Luka, but I'm not going there. Like
He's
a-
not.
anybody
It's just
like
fun.
Russell Westbrook putting up a triple double, unless he does it for the Lakers, like that's legit. Like I just feel like it's legit. Luka putting up 41 points. I don't care if it's for the Mavs. Like, that's still legit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He's
I'm just giving
I
you
would,
the
I
Devin
would,
Booker
I would
lines
love
that
to
they
have
get.
those empty calories for DA right now. Like,
those would be pretty big calories.
Why you gotta go there? Why you gotta go there, Saul? I thought you were friendly to DA, and
I
then
love
you
DA.
then you take that kind of shrapnel his direction. Like,
Did I say something fucked up?
Oh no.
Would we not want DA to have 41 and 14?
No, we definitely do. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's
I'd
just
love for him to. I just don't want to say Luka in the same breath as it. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
That's
All right,
like
got you. I
that's
would
like
love if
saying
DA had
Bloody
48.
Mary
Is
3
that
times
better?
into a mirror, right? Doesn't that cause something poor, right?
I'm wearing Pumas for God's sakes. Isn't that good enough, DA? Jesus.
That's an endorsement.
Get off my
if
back.
I've seen one.
Lindsey just mouthed, "I'm so confused," which basically is this whole
So
show.
confused right
This
now.
is what you get when you try to keep us in a
Yeah,
straight
when you
line
tell
to
us to
start
shut
off
up,
a show.
things go off the rails
I
because all we
mean-
do is sit here and fester and think of stupid shit to talk about.
Because you're children.
Yes,
Yes.
1,000,000%.
Okay.
Nobody
Always
debates that.
been.
With that, let's take a look at tonight's injury report. On the Mavs side, Sterling Brown is out. And then on the Suns side, DeAndre Ayton is out.
Like it just
All
says
things-
foot.
I know, right?
That's all it said on the injury report. Foot.
All things considered, though, this is a pretty light injury report, comparatively speaking to what we have been accustomed to sharing in these pregame shows over the last month or so.
Yeah.
So this is a positive.
Because every player in the NBA now has been in and out of
Right.
health and
COVID
safety
protocol,
protocols.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Everybody's,
run through everything.
everybody's good for at least the next 3 months.
And to be fair, we stopped including the three usuals: Nader and
Yeah,
Saric
well, you know.
and Kaminsky.
Although Nader's practicing.
Yeah, he's trying to work his way back. Yeah, he's trying to do more one-on-one, three-on-three stuff. The injury report's the saddest time.
I mean, honestly, like, it's just so frustrating and confusing. Like,
The
what?
show?
No, yeah, that too. Abdul Nader and this injury. Like, I feel like I just need some more answers around it.
I
like,
need a
it's
descriptor like
frustrating.
foot for
like why? Why is he being held out? Like, it's got to be a conspiracy because clearly they want him to play.
Well, look, this is like not an insider tidbit, but I actually a couple of months or like a month or two ago, I ran into him hiking at one of the more challenging hiking.
How is this
passes.
the first time you're telling us this,
Well,
Gerald?
because I didn't want to like drop this in case he was trying to, in case there is like a conspiracy theory of
I mean,
some
but if
Full
it's
sort.
a
blown in the
public
gym,
So,
we're
like-
climbing the
place, it's a
rock
public
wall, but he
place.
can't play on a court.
So he
Oh
was
my
coming
God.
down the pass with his two dogs, and his two dogs saw my girlfriend's dog, so they like took off and they like practically dragged this dude, and he's fucking tall, like tall, strong dude.
That's how he
They
got
dragged him down.
re-injured.
So I don't know, like I didn't want to like publicly out the dude or anything and be like Abdul Nader's taking challenging hikes while he's trying to like rehab his knee. But I did find that interesting that he was doing that. So I
They're
don't
just
know.
saving him for the Western Conference Finals. It's okay.
Let's be honest. Gerald just didn't want his girlfriend's dog to get in trouble for re-injuring Abdul Nader.
I mean, he's
Gerald's
not
fault,
wrong.
you guys.
It's my fault.
It's
Ab.
Gerald's
I'm
fault.
so sorry, Dooley.
Connor.
Dang.
Oh, no.
Gerald's girlfriend is really dangerous.
Oh,
no.
Jesus.
I don't think that was the story, but all right.
Jesus. Connor.
We're going to skip that one.
Fabio, Abdul Nader has knee.
And we're going to go to tonight's matchup that I want you guys to talk about.
Oh,
So,
get
JaVale
your-
McGee, Kristaps Porzingis, with DeAndre Ayton being out, this may become a thing.
Oh my God, this graphic is awesome.
It's a pretty cool graphic. Not gonna
JaVale
lie.
looks way cooler than Kristaps does in this graphic.
He does.
though.
Saul
What?
can't even speak. He's just
Chris,
laughing.
Kristaps, go bring that back up. Kristaps, he's got that like I just pumped a neighbor's cat look on his face.
Oh, my God.
JaVale's got the I just ate the neighbor's cat. Like, what is
Oh,
it?
David
no.
can attest to this. When I was making the graphic, I looked at Kristaps. He's like, "Yeah, he looks pretty weird. I'm gonna pick this one."
You could say that about most Kristaps Porzingis photos.
Oh, look, in all seriousness, like DA being out, that takes away a guy that can guard Porzingis on the perimeter. Kristaps has given the Suns fits in the last two games because, I mean, obviously he took on a more heightened role with Luka out, but JaVale hasn't been great in defending in space when they have a pick and pop five. So that's a challenge. I almost wonder if Monty considers putting Jay on him for stretches, just so they have somebody that can trail him out to the 3-point line when he pops. But I don't know. It'll be a good night for JaVale not to get in foul trouble.
You don't think that's Mikhail's assignment tonight?
His arms are long. They ain't that long.
You think it'll be on Luka?
Yes, I think he might take Luka.
I agree. No, listen, like JaVale first of all, JaVale's not guarding anybody on the perimeter ever. Like he's just not very good at that. Mm-hmm. We know this. So I would assume based on the matchup that you're definitely going to opt to put Jay Crowder on him more than not in this game, especially if he starts off pretty solidly like he did the last matchup here in Phoenix where he freaking shot the lights out. It seemed like and DA didn't play in that game either. So
All right.
I'd rather have Porzingis go off than Luka, because I think you got a better chance at winning if Kristaps is the guy that you're going to than if Luka's the guy that's dominating this game and dictating everything.
Espo, you want to tell us what our friends over at DraftKings think about tonight's game?
Yes, I can. It's a 2.5 point favorite for the Suns, so they think it's going to be a close game. I don't know that it'll be as close as DraftKings believes, but I can understand it. Suns at the end of this long road trip. The thing that's in the Suns' favor, though, like we've talked about, Mavericks are in the back end or tail end of a back-to-back, which should mean, in theory, the Suns should have the fresher legs tonight.
They should, and they should try to push the tempo against this team because the Suns play at the 6th fastest pace. The Mavs are a top 5 defense. You don't want to let a defense like that get set and play a half-court game. The Mavs have been really good about limiting transition opportunities, but if the Suns get stops and are able to push, that'll help a lot, especially because the Mavs are also good at taking the ball out of the basket and scoring on the other end. So they need to be prepared and put those fresher legs to work tonight. They haven't played since Monday, so they've had plenty of time off. So this would be a good night to put that to use, especially since DA is the only guy that's missing.
Yeah, my only fear is coming off this long of a road trip, the focus is on, hey, we get to go home, and you kind of sometimes will overlook this game. I think there's a benefit that it's on TNT because a lot of times guys will be more locked in when they know you're the national game, and you don't want to get embarrassed in that unless you're the Arizona Cardinals. So, I
Shots
think,
fired.
I think we should be that should overcome the fact that they're playing on the end of this road trip. But I know and we'll get into it. I picked them to win this, but this is one of those games that I thought over it a lot because Dallas is on that hot streak. Dallas has a lot of guys that can challenge you, and they've got a good defense. This is going to be, can we get Devin Booker on that Raptor revenge tour? You know, is he going to be pissed off at the My Little Pony that's the Dallas Mavericks mascot? Can he get fired up? What is he going to find to fuel him again tonight? Because he obviously has had, to use a Lindsey phrase, a bee in his bonnet. About some stuff.
Oh my God! What the hell?
I think you took that straight from the cover of your book when you were actually wearing a bonnet.
I think it's page 65 in the book. A bee in her bonnet.
I'm telling you guys,
What does that mean?
like I don't fucking
He's
know.
frustrated.
It's
Like
He's agitated.
Okay.
But he's been upset with people calling him out on Twitter. He's upset with the vote. Like I think he's pissed off Devin Booker, and that's good.
He's got a bee in his bonnet.
Oh
Well,
my God!
I mean,
and then he
here's the
tried to
thing.
put it on Lindsay like she would ever say that.
She did wear a bonnet on a cover of a
Thank
book
you.
before.
I'm glad
Did I
Gerald.
always-
There was no bonnet on
There was
that.
no bonnet?
No.
It was the kind of photo you would have a bonnet with. Gerald got the
Dude,
wavelength.
she didn't
I
have a
was on.
fucking sheep and a fucking staff either. I don't know. She's not.
She didn't know what
Bonnets aren't just for little Bo Peep.
Jeez, expand your horizons, Mr. Bookman.
Oh my
To be fair,
gosh!
I swear to God, she had a bonnet on. It's just one of those things.
No,
I
she didn't have a
didn't know.
bonnet. She did not
I
have a
thought
bonnet
she
on.
did.
I know
Her
she
hair
did.
was
I know
her hair
she
was
did.
kind of messy and it was like in a little dirty ponytail. That's what
It's
it
like
was.
the Mandela effect.
So, Espo, you're
I'm
not
gonna
the
need
only
you to
one
The
who
what?
has kind of mixed
Whoa!
feelings.
What's the Mandela effect?
You've never heard
Isn't
of the
that
Mandela effect?
Isn't that like the
No.
Bernstein,
Yeah.
Bernstein?
Yeah. It's
thing?
like where you swear on your life that you remember something being different than what it currently is. It's basically saying that,
And
like,
there's an alternate universe.
yeah, and that in your past life or you switch dimensions or something because you specifically remember something being like J.C. Penney's. Like people remember it being spelled like J.C. Penney, and then other people remember it being J.C. Penney's or something like that.
So why the Nelson Mandela tie-in?
I don't know.
Because one of the most famous ones is people remember Nelson Mandela dying sooner
prison.
rather than later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like a
Never
whole
heard
thing.
of that.
You should Google it. It's really interesting, and it'll make you like have a low-key existential crisis because you'll be like, I remember that.
That just means to me that they think that because that all Southern women wear bonnets. That's all that makes me think.
That's what I thought.
See? He says no, but it's like 50% right here. Like, what are you talking
It was a
about?
requirement back in the 1800s. You didn't know?
Oh my gosh.
Nader being good.
Being good according to Connor. I do not. So we both disagree there.
So Long John Silver in the chat says, I don't know about this game, fellas. Sean says, feeling really good about tonight. They're on a back-to-back, and we're on 3 days rest. Matthew says, I think we got this because our bench is going to help us a ton. Do you guys have, we know Espo feeling a little like this could potentially go the wrong way.
Of course he does.
Gerald, Saul, do you guys feel like the potential is there for that?
There's always potential to lose, but we don't have to say it all the time. Like, yeah.
I don't say it all the time.
Say it all the time.
No, you don't say it all the time. He says it all the time. The sky is always
you go
falling.
Back and look, I've always picked the Suns in all these.
Like, this could be a trap game. Always a trap game.
I mean, I
Screw
feel
you,
like they're
Saul.
just
Play the Orlando Magic. It could be a trap game.
Oh, not the
like, nobody's going to lose to the Magic.
Look, I think the Mavs are a good team. They're playing really good right now. The Suns are a good team. They've been the best team in the NBA. If you lose to a good team, you lose to a good team. But I feel like the Suns will take care of
The Suns are the
business.
best team in the NBA, and they have one of the best guards in the NBA.
Now you're just stealing my lines.
So
too, huh?
they should win this game easily, even though I picked them by 3.
All right, well, then let's see what our picks are.
All right, let's take a look.
Well, Mr. Negative, I picked him by the most of anybody.
Well, Saul definitely copied my pick. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I had
Suns
by
with the
4.
money. Let's go.
So we got Suns by 4 for me, Suns by 3 for Saul, Suns by 8 for Espo, and Suns by 3 for Lindsey. So
It's
we all got
interesting
'em
because
covered.
Espo is the only one like who brought up anyway. I can understand where you're coming from, Espo. I get it completely because I do feel like while having a few days rest on the road is good for team morale and bonding, sometimes it can get a little like sluggish in that last game. Like they always say, the last game of a road trip and the first game home from a road trip are always the hardest for whatever reason. So many coaches and NBA players will tell you that same thing. So I get what you're saying. But with that, I'm kind of surprised that you picked Suns by 8, more than all of us basically combined.
Well, look, I'm still confident in this team. They are the best team in the NBA, even if Saul tries to ruin that. I think that they will come through, and I think this is another one of those games where that lead doesn't extend until late in the fourth, where it's very close. Mavs may even have the lead throughout portions of this game, but I'm not going to pick against the Suns team in the final moments. Like Saul says, he's right on one thing. When you have Chris Paul and Devin Booker, you don't have to worry. And I think that's where it'll be. Tonight it'll extend in those last 3 minutes of the fourth.
Also, can we almost wrap up the show because I'm looking like a fucking Oompa Loompa on the screen. Look how orange my face is right now.
It's just the golden
Oh
hour.
my
Because your
gosh.
face is orange, Saul.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can wrap up, but we
It is
have
literally the same color as the orange below it.
We have
That's
one
the
more
basketball.
thing. We've been talking a lot recently about campaign kind of turning the corner, and Gerald was able to actually ask Monty about that today. So Gerald, tell us what that kind of went down.
Well, yeah, a couple weeks ago he had talked about how they had a conversation with Campaign about when we've talked about this, when he gets past that first layer of the defense, looking for JaVale more, looking for shooters more, and taking that mid-range shot a little bit more instead of, driving to the basket 100 miles an hour. So here's what Monty had to say about it.
He's obviously defending full court a lot more than he did earlier, and I think that just came with conditioning. He understands that impact, and it helps us offensively. Just him getting up and playing 80 feet from the basket can disrupt rhythm. And then on offense, we just tried to ask him to consider taking the mid-range shot, because when he plays with JaVale, the defensive big is in drop coverage, and it's hard to get to the basket at times like he did last year because he was playing with Dario and Frank at times in the second unit, and the big was worried about Dario popping, so he had a lot more opportunities to get to the basket. And I think, lately we've seen him, take a few more mid-range shots as opposed to trying to get all the way to the basket. That doesn't mean he can't get there, but I just think he's, in much better shape. He's getting consistent minutes, and I think he's learning how to play with a different group, Landry and JaVale. It's a lot different group than he played with last year.
Yeah, so Monty touched on it, and I think we overlooked this a little bit, that getting used to playing with different types of bigs. Dario Saric was a pick and pop guy. JaVale is pretty much exclusively a rim runner. That takes some adjusting to playing with Landry Shamet, who's not shooting the ball well. That takes a little bit out of you. So they're asking him to take the mid-range a little bit more, and over this last 11 games, he's averaging 11 points, 4.5 assists. He's shooting 45% from the floor and 40% from three, plus 6.4 point differential. So this is a lot more like the campaign we were used to last season, just starting to hit shots and turn the corner a little bit, which is a good sign moving forward.
Well, and the other thing too, he's had to play with and without Cam Johnson a lot because they've had to move him in and out of starting lineup due to injury, due to illness. So that's another guy that he had chemistry with last year that hasn't been consistently on that second unit with him as well. So I'm sure all of that plays a role into it, but the whole idea that JaVale clogs that lane a little bit more is one that's probably been overlooked by a lot of people because he was playing with either Frank or Dario last year in those situations. So.
Go ahead.
As Gerald said on the podcast yesterday, keep it going, man.
With that,
Definitely
that
love
pump.
to see Cam Payne turn in the corner. So, yes, as Gerald said, keep it going. Just to note, the Suns are 4-0 this season when playing on TNT. So, hopefully, it'll be 5-0 after this one wraps up. You can hang out with us on Twitter throughout the game at PHNX_Suns. If you are a Go PHNX member, you can hang out with us in the Discord throughout the game. And, of course, be sure to come right back here after the game wraps up for a little post-game action. Until then, we'll see you guys later.
Oh.